So I'm delighted this morning that Pauline Heron has introduced me to. I was going to say Aidan. It is not Aidan.
Wrong
It's
one.
yeah. It's Alan. Alan. So Alan's part of Discovery Days, which has been created.
Development
What's that?
development discovery.
Development Discovery, which has been created to showcase Alan's expertise in developments in Scotland. Since the 90s, you've been working on developments from 12 units plus up all the way to 72.
Yep.
So huge thanks for you taking time out today. Huge thanks to Pauline for introducing me to you as well. So, Alan, I could easily go for a little bit of the agenda in terms of your own profile and so forth. But it's nice to hear from yourself as well. What made you get into property development rather than just a traditional buy-to-let investor back in the 90s?
Well, I suppose initially I didn't know that buy-to-let investing existed back in the 90s. So I think that was it. I was looking for a kind of long-term, reliable way to make money. It was really as simple as that. I had no prior experience in property, so any education that I had was much more classically based rather than specific to construction, for example. Um, and so, having looked around in my 20s at when you're looking at what's life going to hold for you and where are you going to go, I found myself out of a job after having worked in an environment that basically exposed me a little bit to property development. And so from that, I decided that was the path I was going to take. The recession in that time had we'd just come out of a recessionary trend, certainly not as bad as the one we had in 08, 09. But in the early part of the 90s, the market was starting to pick up. The banks were willing to lend to people with very little experience, which, I ticked that box. And I kind of went from there. I started a development, probably made more mistakes than anybody has a right to make and still stay on their feet during that time, and I managed that. And then from there, just went on. And, I suppose so 90s was all about kind of small developments for me and learning what I was doing. And then 2000s, I became managing director of a house building firm up here in Scotland, and we developed out sort of high-end housing, but running 4 or 5 sites simultaneously. Not by any stretch of the imagination a big house building firm, but selling 20, 30 units a year on 4 or 5 sites at any given time. That was really it. And then from that, obviously, I then got caught up in the whole kind of chaos that was 2008, 2009, when it didn't matter whether your business was profitable or not. If you were in the property development sector, you were a target. And so, our business succumbed in that time. And from then, I suppose I did little or nothing for a few years, and then kind of got back in to help a small business grow. We ended up doing contracting because my kind of only experience of lending was through high street banks. I didn't know that there were other ways of raising money, so we did contracting rather than anything else. And it was only really when contracting went really sour for us in 2015 that we started looking at alternative ways. We got exposed to a different type of property education I wasn't aware of that existed. And it exposes things like joint ventures and more creative ways of structuring financial deals. And I think I took to that like a fish to water, because that was, I guess, all the stuff that I had previously. That had kind of really helped. That really helped background it. So that takes us up to where we are now, where we started. I met with, you said, Pauline and Aidan, and they persuaded me that actually, we could probably take a lot of the experience that I've got and kind of really go out there and try and help people to get into property development, but get into it in a way that's actually safe. Because one of the things about development is perceived as being very risky. It's perceived as being only for people who've been in property for some time and have lots of cash and all the rest of it. Whereas in actual fact, if you just follow a system, like anything in life, then there are definite opportunities. What we do with development discovery is we get people to sort of learn with us. We have a mentorship program whereby they actually take part in a live development, so they are shareholders in that project. They don't necessarily need to invest any money in that, but they're shareholders in the project, and they see a development taking place from the inside out, so from very first principles. And so that we started that in sort of mid 2016. We've run one full series of courses where we got, as a result of speaking at things like PPN events and the like, we got some people in to our one-day discovery day, if you like. That then led on to a 3-day, sort of much more intense course, that then led on to a mentorship program. And so we're now about 6 months into that mentorship program, and we've got 2 groups of 6 to 12 people in total. And one of those groups has got a project that is now fully funded. It's for 11 flats down in Devon, just outside Dartmouth. And we should be on site there in probably about 3-4 months.
So that's quite interesting. Moving from Scotland, which you're based, to developments outside of obviously Scotland. Are you actively still involved in developments in Scotland, or is it looking at English developments as such with the development discovery days?
Well, that's a good question. Timing wise, for me, last year was the perfect time for me to go and look at England. I'd kind of not really thought about it previously, and then the government, I fought with the planning system in Scotland for probably 20 years, and there's a fight. And I heard on the news that the trial of permitted development rights in England had been extended and was now something that was going to be full on. I'd never really done a lot of conversions of buildings, one or two over the years. Mostly it'd been new build straight from planning, from pre-planning right the way through. But the idea of being able to completely bypass the planning system had some appeal. I also had, probably as I got back into development after the foray into contracting, I've now got myself stoked up in Scotland, in that I've got 5 developments here, which probably gives me about 3 to 4 years worth of development work in Scotland. That's going to happen regardless. That's just I have systems and teams in place here. It's just a case of managing that. It doesn't necessarily take massive amounts of my time. And so the timing was right for me to kind of get more involved in England. I had a great year in 2016. It was a really productive year for me in terms of setting up development discovery, getting some developments underway in England and under control in England. England is very much my focus just now, but I have things that find me in Scotland as a result of being around for a while.
Alan, I know you're speaking at PPA Manchester in a few weeks' time, about the 23rd of this month. So what do people get from coming to one of your presentations? I know you've got a wealth of knowledge, from 12 units to 72, mostly Scotland, but now developments in the UK, as you say, on the south coast. So what would people get from going to a PPN or PIN or whatever meet you're speaking at, to be fair, whether it's an independent or group meet? What would be the takeaways?
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, effectively, there's a little bit of story in there, but fundamentally, I try and give a flavour of what you can achieve in development. I mean, traditionally, I've been residential development, but I've also done some commercial development. I do commercial development in a very specific way, and so at the moment, in fact, the talk you mentioned in Manchester is all about targeted commercial development, which is the kind of way that I like to do that, which is pretty much a risk-free way of tackling the type of development that a lot of people in the property community that you and I inhabit, they all think residential, they don't necessarily think commercial. And so this is just giving them a different take on a form of, or a kind of investment opportunity within the property arena that is probably knocks the spots off of anything that they'll be doing currently in terms of their residential. And again, it's a sort of systemised overview of how to get into that form of development in a very sort of risk-free way. And so again, in that, we're going there to promote development discovery, because one of the things that I've done is I've taken my experience in that field, I've coupled it with another guy who does a lot in that field, and we've put together a sort of half-day discovery day followed by a 2-day course. But again, we're working on the basis that we really want people to come on a journey with us, whereby they effectively learn at the same time as they earn at the same time as they learn. So it's a very safe environment for people to get involved in dipping their toe in the property development water.
Alan, there's a lot of my audience though who are buy-to-let investors.
Yep.
I understand with government tax changes, government regulation, that maybe they have to look at alternatives such as development, but there's a leap of faith as well. It's sort of, people say it's not necessarily about the knowledge basis. It's not about knowing all the regulations. It's sort of like a leap of faith. You could say it's a bit of confidence as well. So what apart from coming on your discovery days and so forth, and apart from coming to PPN Manchester when you're speaking next, and I don't know if you've got any other speaking dates lined up for general property networking events in London or outside of London, but what other things would you say people should be thinking of if they're thinking it's a bit of a leap of faith, or more than a bit of a leap of faith, from the comfort or relative comfort of the buy-to-let market, although people see the pain attached to the buy-to-let market now, or many people do with the government regulation. That's why development is becoming one of the hottest topics right now in the UK. But the leap of faith, the confidence factor, what steps, you say systems and so forth, what steps do you think people should be taking?
Well, if you look at property development is something that if you jump into it, then you jump into it blind. It is a leap of faith, and to be honest, you're fairly stupid if you do that. If you, like any form of any project that you do in property is a process. Somebody who understands doing buy-to-lets, and it's the one or two of these, understands how you put a process in place to deliver an outcome. And property development is just exactly the same as that. It's not any more difficult, it's slightly more complex, but there is a system, there is a process that you follow. And again, what we're looking at doing in development discovery is effectively just exposing that process, giving people the opportunity to get involved in property development without necessarily taking the plunge on their own. So what we found, however, is that the guys that are on our mentorship program, now 6 months in, pretty much all of them are now doing or looking at doing or have offered on developments of their own that they would never have dreamt to do 6 months ago, because they've just seen that it is, okay, we're getting led through a process, and we can see that you start at the beginning, you kind of just work your way through it. It's not, people put a lot of they think there's some kind of fairy dust that you sprinkle to make developments happen. It's just a process. That's all it is.
So I would say one of your strengths, though, has to be negotiation skills. The more I'm involved in this industry in one way or another, I discovered negotiations key. And I know time is almost running out, but I'm sure we're going to see you in London at some time soon. Yeah. And huge thanks for coming to my property development summit, the one-day event. How did you find that event, Alan?
Yeah, great. Really enjoyed it. I met some good people, which is obviously a key part of going to these events. Content was really interesting. Some of the chat we had on, a few things that really are things that I've been looking at is how we can use data more effectively. So maybe hooking up with Gabriel on one of the chaps that you had on the panel.
I had the likes of Urban Intelligence on the panel, I call them a planning portal. That they may not use the same phraseology, but for me it's easier to think of it like that. Gavron Mercado from Realize and Johnny Britton from Land Insight.
Yeah, the more intelligence you can put on at the front end of development, the more you de-risk it. It really is that simple. And I think, therefore, the greater access to data in a manageable form, whether that's in the form like Johnny's doing, Land Intelligence, layered mapping systems that's got all your information in the one area, or the type of projects or products that your big data guy Gabriel was kind of offering, in terms of dragging 170 different data points in that area to be able to pinpoint key. When you're doing development, one of the big things that you're always kind of thinking about, the one kind of critical thing is, what is the market going to be like at the time when I'm going to be building the thing that I'm ultimately developing. So development, the bit of building in the development process is the last. If development is A to Z, then building probably starts at T and ends at W. That it's the bit that people see, but it's not the critical bit. It's all the stuff that comes before that. In fact, Paul, that you had on, made that point very clearly, I thought. As an experienced developer, he was kind of putting that point across really well. So I enjoyed your day. It was great to see so many people.
You came all the way. I have to admit, I didn't really think, but you probably came all the way from Scotland to be there. So
yeah, I flew down in the morning and flew back at night.
Wow. So just some other key things to get across. I know we haven't really gone into negotiation skills, and definitely like to go into that at some point. In terms of how people connect with you, so obviously you're a PPN Manchester on the 23rd of this month.
Yeah.
Can they contact you about PPN Manchester? Is there an easy way for them to find out about that particular event? Because I have to admit, I don't know too much about it. So I'm sure you know a lot more about where it meets and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, PPN have their own Progressive Property Network, have their own website. PPN Manchester has got its own website. You can get that through progressiveproperty.co.uk. Similarly, we've got our site we've got discoveryhub.co.uk is the kind of main place to find out what we're up to. You can get me at Alan with one L at discoveryhub.co.uk. Happy to engage with any of your viewers, Brendan, no problem at all.
So I just want to get your email again. It's Alan at discoveryhub.co.uk.
That's it.
Okay, brilliant. Well, and out of curiosity, where are you based in Scotland, Alan?
So I'm based north of Edinburgh, in a place just over the water in Fife, over the Forth Bridge. So yeah, based there. I've been developing in Fife, Lothians and Borders, Perthshire, Tayside, that kind of thing. So mostly central and eastern Scotland. Over the last 20 years, sadly. feels like a long time.
Brilliant. I just want to say huge thanks for you taking out time this morning. And huge thanks to my listeners as well. So I've got a number of interviews lined up today and tomorrow with some amazing people like Alan. Now, there's a chance for you to hear Alan as well. I'm sure one of my meets sometime soon, but there's also PPN. And I go to PPNs as well. I go to PPN Knightsbridge. I have to admit, I only go to one PPN, but if I can and if it doesn't clash with my own dates, I'm at PPN. I do go to pins as well. I'm open to be fair, I'm open to any meet as such. And as I say, huge thanks to yourself, Alan. And if you can just thank Pauline as well for doing the introduction as well. So huge thanks for listening today.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Well, thank you.